So when I was in high school, I was a gymnastics instructor, and this goes back into, I graduated in '82, so in 1980, 81, 82, I trained 2 hours a day, taught 1 hour, and trained the other hour. And once you get your students up and running, then you pretty much train with them a couple hours a day. There was usually a couple of the gyms we would go to as a group. Some of the guys trained with, and we would train a couple other times outside of school. And during one of the gymnastics classes I was teaching, there was a black belt that came in. It was Matt Molyneux, came into the gym, and he was doing with demonstration of karate with another friend of his that was also a martial artist. So when they came in to the gym, we were training on one side of the gym. He came in to the other side to do this demonstration, and it was for extra credit for an English class. And as he began to do that demonstration, it stopped everybody in the gymnasium. And we stopped training and started watching, and I said, that is incredible. And I don't know at what point I would have an opportunity to train, but I would certainly like to do that. So I graduated, that was in 1982. I ended up graduating, and at New Year's Eve, 82. So December 31, 1982, I was over at a friend's house. We were celebrating New Year's, and I ended up running into Matt Molyneux, that martial artist, and he was looking for a friend to give him a ride home, and I ran into him. I said, hey Matt, I saw you do that demonstration when we were in school, and I was teaching gymnastics on the other side of the gym, and I'd like to know more about the karate. I'm interested in training. I'm still training in gymnastics in a private gym outside of the school, and I know I can't do that forever, and martial arts is something I always was interested in doing it. And so, do you teach? And so he said, yeah, I do. And he gave me a card, and he told me where they taught in Sarasota, Florida, and then also in Bradenton. So there's a community center in Sarasota. He said, show up here. It's going to be on Sundays and Thursdays. He told me the time. And then next week I showed up. And I thought that he was actually the head instructor. And what I learned was that he was the top student. And so I began training there. At some point, Matt took another pathway. He ended up going into the Air Force. I ended up traveling and living on the other side of the country. So something that I always did while I was doing the martial arts, something that my dad taught myself and my other brothers, was the speed bag. For as long as I can remember in elementary school as a kid, my dad always had a speed bag set up in the houses that we lived. He would build these inside the garage, and I remember having a large bench that was on the ground because we couldn't reach it. And so we pulled this bench out that he built, and we'd stand on that, and we'd put on these leather gloves, and we would hit the speed bag. And my dad had a few tricks, and he showed us how to hit these basic rhythms. You've seen this before, right? We call it the basic rhythm. Or it's, it'd be like 1, 2, 3, 4. It'd be 1, 2, 3, 4. These kinds of things like this. And then every once in a while, he would show us the front fist roll. And then he did another trick where he kind of went to the side of the bag and he hit it like that. And we thought that was really cool. We wanted to learn how to do that. So I had 3 other brothers, and we trained and learned, how to do those basic things. So skip forward. So at 18, I began training in martial arts. I see that speed bag and I said, that's really excellent for hand and eye coordination. And I can see something different in that than perhaps like I just knew boxers did it. So continue to do it, and then one of my brothers found a video that was done by Alan Kahn, a number of different videos, and he's the author of the Speed Bag Bible. And Alan had 24 different techniques, all linked together, moving the bag in all these different directions. And now as a more advanced martial artist, I looked at that and I thought, that has a lot of things that we train for in martial arts. It's got strikes in it that this front fist roll now is taken on a whole different look, because that front fist roll, on the speed bag is just training, but for us, these are things that could be used for self-defense that my sensei used to show me when we would be sparring. This is one of the techniques he'd like to do. And so, back fist. I saw where you push your hands through. We call it a double fist pass through. So two of your fists going through the bag, two coming back. And I looked at that and I thought, okay, that's again another movement that we would use for a blocking situation. You know, it could be a block, it could be a strike, but pushing through the bag and pulling back through. And I'll move this way so you can see just a little bit. So when you do these front fist pass throughs, I saw these things as being techniques where it could be a grab, it could be a strike down, coming back. On the back of that strike on the speed bag, this again could be grabs, strikes. It could be that you're throwing people. There's moves where you'll see this. So a reverse side double punch, striking the bag. In one direction, the bag goes up. As it comes back, it's hit again with this hand. And it can be done reverse or forward. So you're either striking and the bag is moving forward this way, from moving first with your hand striking on the outside, or you're striking from the backside. So these movements, I saw all these, and these became things that we do in karate. I saw, let's see, what else? The split fist punching. And you'll see one fist goes through the bag rebounds and comes back. Now you strike it here, and you strike here, strike. So it kind of looks like this. And it looks really strange without the speed bag, but I'm showing you this now because I look at it as from being a martial artist. So these things of moving your fists through and striking. So I looked at this as being a grab, punch. It could be a grab, a break, twisting somebody back down, a throw. So these are movements that boxers, and I respect them a whole lot and had a chance to train the trainer, train mixed martial artists. My dad's done over 10,000 students. Sometimes it's the trainer, sometimes it's the boxer, sometimes it's the martial artist, it's the mixed martial artist, it's men, women, and children from a young age up to, into their 80s. And they're doing it for health and fitness. My dad's got a background, as you probably heard, with some boxing and so forth. But, what we're doing this for is for self-defense and hand and eye coordination. And, sometimes you don't have a training partner, and the speed bag is awesome for that because it allows you to move that partner that you don't have in all these different directions. And this style allows you to build tremendous shoulder strength, speed, hand and eye coordination, and your timing. And it's a lot of fun when you just have a couple of techniques. When I would go to the boxing gym, I'd see the guys hit. And, they have so many different pieces of equipment. This is just one piece of training equipment. And so if you just have a couple of techniques that you hit, if you're hitting like this, and I'll see this, that's probably about the most advanced. Every once in a while you might see maybe the guy has learned a double or something, but the amount of time that they spend training on it is very small because they don't have a lot of techniques that they're doing on it. Sometimes you'll see them, they may be hitting it while they're running. Great cardio. It's all good training, but with having a number of different techniques that we do, like I think my dad does now, we'll do like over 30, because there's elbow strikes in there also. You'll see we have an outward elbow strike that we do. So the bag hits here, then it comes down. So in martial arts we call it a hammer fist. So it might be hitting there, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Sometimes it'll be here, outward, downward, and then there's a third punch. So you could do a triple. You could do with this elbow, 1, 2, 3, 4. So multiple techniques, but I looked at this and this is exactly the same thing I was saying before. I envision these, as I'm doing these strikes, that these are self-defense type things. These are bits and pieces of what we use for self-defense. So outward elbow strike, I mean, it's not too hard to figure out. Striking down with the elbow, it's very painful. The elbow is sharp, and you can put a lot of force into it. And getting hit in the ribs or the arms is painful. So strike, hammer fist. We've seen that in MMA bouts. When they're down on the ground, they're doing the ground and pound. That's what these guys are doing. We call it a hammer fist. It's a lot easier on your hand here than it is for your knuckles here, unless you train your knuckles really hard. You train on a makawar. This is something we have outside, kind of like a 4x4 post in the ground. And you can train your knuckles to strike. Train the side of the hand, train the elbows, and do body hardening. Those are the guys you don't ever want to get hit by. They hurt. So the hammer fists on the ground and pound, those work. They come down with the elbow. These are all traditional things. So outward elbow strike. We do a downward elbow strike. I don't believe in the first video my dad just did outwards. You saw him do this. Triples. Ba-doom, ba-doom, ba-boom. Okay? You can also do a downward. So just like throwing a baseball. Hand up by the ear, and you can hit like that. Here, here. One fist in front, under the elbow. You'll hit the side. It'll rebound. You'll hit the elbow. It'll rebound. And you'll hit the hammer fist. It'll rebound. And it happens very fast. I did some instructional videos on the channel. You're welcome to go to those. There's some a little bit more advanced. I'll end up doing some more that start off with kind of a little bit more beginner. We'll talk in one of the videos is about the swivels, and then a few advanced ones. Like I said, we'll end up going and do some different things. So all these things that we do, all these 24 that Alan Kahn taught us, that added to our repertoire now, it's over 30 different techniques. All these things work towards the goal of strength and fitness and hand speed, and it's fun. So that's one of the reasons why I love the speed bag, and we like to teach. So how did we get to over 100 million views? I'm going to tell you, by the grace of God and by my agent, Jukin Media. It was on a whim. My wife and I decided, it's Dad's 85th birthday. We're going to take a little drive down to Florida. It's about 11 or 12 hours from where we live. We're going to surprise my dad for his 85th birthday. We get in the truck and we drive, get down there, and I'm like, Dad, happy birthday. He's like, what are you guys doing? We came to celebrate your birthday with you. What do you want to do? Let's go to the gym. I said, really? Yeah, let's go hit the speed bag. I'm like, okay, Dad. Hey, we'll go hit the speed bag. He's there training every day, and he's got students, and he has for, he was there in that one YMCA for like 20 years. So I said, all right, let's go. I said, Dad, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take the camera this time, though, because you've been filmed a lot of different times and stuff, and how about if I put it up on my YouTube channel? He goes, oh, that would be great. So we go over to the Y. We film this video. And he really didn't even know that I was going to film at that time. So he was actually just doing something very easy. It's a couple minutes long that I ended up filming for. I didn't even know when I first got started how long it was going to run for. Dad can hit for 15, 20, 30 minutes without a miss, just go on and on and on. So I just took a little clip of only a few techniques that he does. And it happened to be that he kind of stopped when I said, hey, that's pretty good. But I never intended for him to stop. He just said to himself, I guess, hey, I guess that's enough. And so that was the end of the video. So we came back home. I put it up on my channel. And maybe a few months earlier, I had seen this falling object in the sky while we were out in the loofah field. We're farmers. And I saw this object falling out of the sky. It did not look like a plane. I came up to the house. I videoed it. And I looked for a place that were interested in it, and I called these different news channels and stuff. I couldn't get anybody to the phone. Nobody would return a phone call, and so I ended up finding Jukin Media out in LA. Somebody answered the phone, And what is Jukin Media? They're the largest media sharing business in the world. So for user-generated content, a guy like me shoots something and goes, I think it'd be really cool to share this around, and I want it to be shared, but I want it to be promoted, but I want it to be protected so somebody's not going to go ahead and steal the content. And then they license it for commercials in all kinds of different places. So I showed them that video of the falling object, and they said, hey, we'll take it. So now flash forward a few months later, I call them back up and I say, hey, check this out. 85-year-old grandpa that rips a speed bag. We really like that one, Paul. We'll take that one too. I said, all right, great. So by this time, I think they had that would be like my fourth one. So it rolls for about 5 months, and we're getting some views and everything. Then all of a sudden, Jukin Media puts it in to one of their brands, which is People Are Awesome channel. So People Are Awesome, Fail Army, Pet Collective, these are some of their brands. And so it ends up being part of a little piece of our video, goes into the 2016 People Are Awesome Martial Arts Edition. And it goes on to their YouTube channel, and then it goes on to their Facebook, and it gets shared among some of their brands, and then all of a sudden it takes off and goes viral. And one day I get a private message from a friend of mine that says, hey, did you see your dad in this video over here? And he sends it to me in this private message on Facebook, and I look at it and I said, Go Laka Magazine. What is Go Laka Magazine? Well, Go Laka Magazine is this magazine in India that has a Facebook page, and just this place alone, it ran 39 million views. And I found it in another place for millions and millions and millions, and it went over 100 million. So Jukin Media, I can't thank them enough for what they've done. Dad doesn't even use a computer. I have to call him, and we'll talk on the phone, and he'll say, hey, can you read me some of the latest comments? And he's really excited about how far this has gone to help encourage others. Listen, diet and exercise is really super important. My dad's a chef, has been cooking for better part of his life. Now he's going to be 89 years old in January, and so diet and exercise every day. Being mindful about that, it's been super important. It's allowed him to have a great life and be able to encourage others, and that's really what the video is about. Dad wants to be the encourager of others, to get out there and exercise. He's had many, many students. We've talked earlier, like over 10,000 students from all walks of life. So, Jukin Media, y'all, thank you so much. We couldn't have done it without you, because I've got a number of different more videos over there. We're waiting to see what happens with those as well. But there's just no way on our own that we could have done something of such a large scale, and it just continues to grow. And this is on multiple social media platforms. Every single one that I can think of, they are there. Every single major network that you can think of, they know about Jukin Media. They have a massive, massive library of videos. So when it's a television show that's looking for a certain content, they can go to Jukin Media's library and look through it in a search window and say, if it's something on cats, you can key in that word and boom, there's a whole list of things on cats and horses and speed bag and all kinds of things like that. So it's a tremendous thing. We're very grateful to be a part of it. And so I asked if they'd send me a little bit of their merch so we can just talk about them. But we're super grateful because we can only do so much. And then somebody else needs to grab that baton and run with it. And so Jukin Media, thank you so much.